Do you like listening to podcasts? Of course you do. You're listening to a podcast right now. What about getting paid to listen to podcasts? Well, now you can. Sign up at podcoin.com and get paid to listen to your favorite podcasts. It's free. Get paid to listen, save up your Podcoins, cash them in for prizes like Amazon or Starbucks gift cards, or you can donate to charity like we do. Use our offer code SUPERPOD to get 300 Podcoins on us. It's available in the App Store and on Android. It's the only way that we listen to podcasts now, and it could change the way that you listen to podcasts. Now on with the show.
This podcast is part of the Big Heads Media Podcast Network. Go to bigheadsmedia.com for more great podcasts.
What's up, man?
What's going on?
Not too much. Just chilling, hanging out, all that good shit.
Daydreaming.
Daydreaming.
Chasing them.
Yeah.
Subtle hints.
Yeah. we're a little better at being more direct.
Yeah. So, guess what?
What?
We got an interview.
Oh my God. We got an interview.
Da-da-da-da.
Da-da-da-da. With the one and only Andrew Zink, otherwise known as Dreamchaser, amongst many other projects and bands and stuff.
Because one man is not just one man. He's several.
He is several, and he is several times awesome because of it. He's just a really cool dude in general, though.
Oh, yeah.
Funny as fuck. Totally, like, it's one of those instances when you just hit it off immediately.
Like, you just know by the energy that it's going to happen.
It's going to be good.
It's going good.
It's going to be great.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got to sit down and talk with him about his project Dreamchaser and the upcoming Heart LP that's going to be released sometime, hopefully by the end of the year.
And a couple of his other projects that he's working on besides that, outside of the name Dreamchaser.
Yeah. So I guess without further ado, we'll just roll the footage.
Let's go chase him.
I wish I was rolling footage. I was going to say roll the footage. I wish I was rolling footage.
Roll that beautiful beam
Roll
footage.
that beautiful dream footage. I mean...
That beautiful podcast footage.
Yes! Dreamcast.
There you go.
Yeah.
Sega Dreamcast.
Sega! Fuck it. Let's roll it. I'm Midnight Agent Raw.
I'm Okame.
And we're sitting here with Andrew Zink of the project Dreamchaser, among other various awesome projects. How's it going, man?
Not too shabby, man. I'm just kicking it, trying not to die in this Florida heat. But yeah,
dude,
doing great.
It's the same here, trust us.
Yeah, Louisiana is just as much a swamp ass as Florida.
Mm-hmm.
I've only been once, and I was actually on Bourbon Street. I think it's the last place I went, and like a French Quarters area was really cool.
Oh
yeah. Yeah, it was a really great place. But yes, the heat out there is probably just as bad.
Dude, I tell people all the time that come down here to visit, I'm like, be sure, like from up north, especially like drier climate, I'm like, bring goggles and a snorkel. Why? Because there's so much fucking moisture in the air, you could practically swim down here.
Pretty much.
Good Lord. Didn't you guys just get like a hurricane or something recently?
You call that a hurricane?
Dude,
or
yeah.
whatever, or a storm or something.
Well, I mean, on our end, like, because we live on the western side, the southwestern side of Louisiana, and it's funny you mentioned that, dude, because, like, the east side of Louisiana just got fucking hammered, okay? So they got hammered with all this water, and, like, a lot of flooding happened and stuff like that. I wouldn't think it was more catastrophic than, like, Hurricane Katrina or, like, a lot of the other ones, but where we are, it's so weird, because I was watching, like, the Doppler radar, and the way that it was curving around and shit, like, we had small little, like, showers, like, everywhere, like, around our town was just getting hammered, and then we just had, like, the little blip of, like, the green and the orange, like, all the color spectrum was not touching, and I was like, what?
Yeah, we had, like, a little safe sanctuary, basically.
Yeah, we lucked out.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, we lucked out, dude, like, big time.
Yeah, being on the panhandle, I have to worry about this shit all the time.
Dude, yeah, because you guys get it from, like, every end over there. There's, like,
yeah, we get fucked. Like, it's it's pretty bad.
That should be the Florida state slogan. Florida,
we get fucked.
we get fucked.
Well, I mean, if you look at it, the panhandle. I mean, the freaking looks like a dick coming out of the United States. I mean, yeah, you do get fucked.
Get wet.
Get wet.
Yeah.
Shit. Oh man. So
Yeah.
get into some of your music stuff, man. So we know you didn't start out with Dreamchaser as your project, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. How did you get into music in general, and like what were some of your inspirations musically? Because you have like some metal projects and some other various genres. Like, can you kind of elaborate on that?
Okay, so I'd say I didn't start taking music seriously until about, I want to say like 2008. I was like probably 18 or something, around that age. I was in a metal band called Ovid's Withering, which I don't know if they're still a thing anymore, but we were like this progressive, like Meshuggah style, like syncopated rhythm, like technical death metal band. And that's kind of like the first, like I said, the first project I ever took seriously. We tried to tour, we tried to make it big and get signed, do that whole thing. Eventually I kind of got tired of that genre, and then I moved into more progressive metal. And I started this new project. It was the first project I started on my own, called Akeldama. And we were like, how do I put this? Kind of like this big atmospheric, what they call it, gent band. I don't know if you're familiar with the word gent.
Yep, DGENT, or yeah,
Yes, correct.
DJENT.
Correct.
Yeah.
So we jumped on that bandwagon like immediately, because it started blowing up around like 2010. You had bands like Periphery and Tesseract and all these other really popular artists. So we did that. We got to tour. We toured with Scar Symmetry in Germany, which was incredible. It was like one of the best times of my life. We played Euroblast Festival. It was great. So it's moving on from there. I did that band for about, I want to say 4 or 5 years. Then, we were getting older. So like some of us were getting married, having kids, and, we just kind of took a break for a while. And, I have to write music. Like it's kind of like it's like a therapy to me almost. So I kept writing music and writing. And then the next big project that I started was the one that I'm mostly known for today, is called Bro Job. And it's like this comedic meme metal band, basically. We're just ridiculous and over the top and really heavy. We down tune our guitars to oblivion. Like you basically don't hear notes. It's just noise. That project has taken off. I've done a lot with it. We've done tours. We've gone all over the country, and it's just been incredible. And you want to talk about influences? It's funny. I don't listen to a whole lot of metal. Like even throughout the years, I've been a huge fan of like indie rock, and actually I like modern pop. I've always liked modern pop. Like the production has always been something that's been like really interesting to me. Just like crystal clear, like incredible production has been a big thing for me, especially bringing that into the metal scene is like something I think is important, because obviously I want to hear the clarity. I want to hear in every single instrument and be able to like tell things apart and really dissect it easily. So I had been toying around with the idea of doing pop music, and I never really got the chance to kind of sit down and do it. But I mentioned this before. I came across the Midnight, and I was actually hanging out with a band called Born of Osiris. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of them.
Yep.
Okay, so I was on the bus with Cameron and the rest of the band, and they were listening to the Midnight, and like I like immediately we were mid conversation when this came on. I was like, wait a second, stop. What are we listening to? This is incredible. There's like saxophone happening, like these like old school drum tones, and like it just kind of it just blew my mind immediately. And they were like, yeah, it's a band called The Midnight, check them out. So I went home, listened to everything they had to offer. Then I came across a bunch of other artists that now I love, like FM84 and Time Cop, and so like really
that's all right up our alley.
Yep.
Yeah, same. It's just it opened up my mind to like the possibilities, like what I could do. So I sat down and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna start fresh right now. I'm gonna try to leave that metal mentality that I've always known when it comes to writing, and I sat down and I kind of surprised myself. I didn't think I had what it takes to actually like construct a song like that, you know. So I released my first single, "The Bird and the Blessing," and this was, I want to say, I could be wrong here, August of last year.
Yeah.
And it got good reception. Like, people, like, even Bro Job fans are like, wow, this is actually really cool.
Yeah, dude, because a lot of the people that don't realize this, a lot of people in the metal community don't all listen to strictly that one genre, because like being a musician myself, like I was in a lot of like different metal bands and shit, and I specifically remember I was doing a tour with my old band in like 2009, and in the very back of the van, like driving between cities, I would have my iPod plugged in, and they were like, well, what are you listening to? And I'm just like, Aqua, Tattoo, DJ Tiesto, like everything you could think of that was like dance or electronic or like Italian disco based and all that random shit. But totally understand what you mean as far as like with the clarity in the music, because the production is so clean. And like Cody and I both love bands like The Midnight and like FM84, Time Cop, Gunship, like a lot.
Yeah, you got me in the Gunship because
Halax,
I introduced you to Pilot.
LeBrock, they're just all killing it too. It's incredible.
Yeah,
it's amazing how they brought back the 80s with such like power. Like you guys literally just brought back not really a dying decade, but like that type of music that we all grew up with, that we adore, and it's just like now it's 10 times better, basically.
And it seems like it's more appreciated now.
Yeah,
honestly,
100%.
It's like a fad.
Like you said before, even like with metal musicians, it's like I found actually a lot of metal musicians are very diverse with what they listen to, especially these days. I would say back in 2008 when I got started, it was a lot of elitism. Like everyone was just an elitist prick. Yeah. But now it's everyone's kind of open-minded. It's great, you know, because for me to be able to share this with Bro Job fans, and they're like, holy shit, this is great. That means a lot to me. I'm like, it's nice to see people accepting these genres, like especially singing in the metal community was not something people actually cared for a long, long time.
I think the biggest thing a lot of artists and bands forget is that you develop better when you open yourself up to different genres, not just like tweaking 100%. Different sounds here and there with the same genre. Like you can get so much influence for example, you know, the metal community. How you think we got like pirate metal and, you know, ska metal and all those other different genres.
Yeah.
You know, they didn't just listen to straight metal from our country. They went all over the place. Like, this sounds cool. Let's put it in our music. And they're probably, like you said, have a playlist of just pirate-based music, or ska music.
There really is pirate metal, dude. Because and Andrew, you need to check this shit out too. There's this, I don't know if they're still around anymore, but back in like 2007, I ran across this band from Australia on MySpace called Scurvy, and it's like the greatest fucking thing I have ever listened to in my life.
Them and Elstorm.
Yes.
Elstorm's actually really sick. I like Elstorm.
Hell yeah. That's.
Then you got Viking metal and Monomarth. They're incredible.
Oh my god, Monomarth is fucking brutal.
Yeah, dude.
But man, because we were talking about like a lot of these different synthwave and synth pop based bands or whatever. The Bad Dreamers is one that I know.
I love them. I love him. Yeah.
Yeah, and you did a remix or a cover of one of their songs. Was it Yeah, you did a cover of Where You Run To.
Yeah, Who You Run To. I did it was like I hate that mix now, but that's typical for me to hate a mix immediately after I'm done with it. But yeah, I did it like right around the time like I discovered him. I was just like, this is just too good, like not to. But yeah, that was fun. That was a really fun project.
Was that kind of like at the beginning of the Dreamchaser project, or like what was like the actual beginnings of like where did you start as far as the writing process? Like, did you want to like do covers just to kind of see if like I can put my style in there, or did you just immediately right off the bat have like an idea for what you wanted to do, or was it just kind of like because I do this a lot too, where it's pulling influence from as much as I can and then just trying to make this bastard child out of all of it.
I think you just described it the best just then. I did when I was working on that cover, I was already trying to build a template for like what I wanted to sound like. experimenting with like bass tones and different like synth tones and stuff, and trying to just like build a library of go-tos.
Yeah.
Like if I have a track, I know what the bass tone I want to go to. I can just pull up a preset and I'm like, okay, this is exactly what I'm looking for. So when I did that cover, I was in that process of kind of creating my musical template, I guess. And I think that's about around the time when I did release The Burden of the Blessing. I could be wrong. It's been a while. But yeah, that's pretty much how it worked. I just kind of I did my research, like you said. I was just listening to a bunch of bands, drawing influence from all of them, and all the while still trying to create my own like individual sound as well. You know,
And
so, I definitely pulled a lot of influence from my melodic atmospheric metal projects too. Like I have a lot of electric guitars that I use. Like electric lead tones and those djenty clean tones.
yeah, it's real bright and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like a glassy guitar tones.
Yes.
I like to bring those into the mix too. So
Yeah, that's a big thing I like about your music is it has that atmosphere behind it, not just having those elements of retro wave and synth wave, but you put your own flavor with it with having this kind of like dreams, well, kind of on the pun of the word, but dreamscape, this very like mental like experience behind the 80s basically.
yeah, I appreciate it, man. Yeah, it's that's kind of the idea. I wanted to everything I like in metal and in synthwave, I kind of wanted to mash into one project.
Yeah, and I mean it definitely shows, man, because like just because Cody actually like sent me. It was funny. He sent me. I think was it Echoes? Did you send Echoes or was it a different song?
It was a different song.
Yeah, he sent me one of your tracks, and it was funny because I remember as soon as I got that text message, I think I was actually about to send him one of your tracks too.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
that's great.
It was funny because I randomly just saw you on Facebook. I saw Dreamchaser. I was like, "Oh, this is actually pretty interesting." I was like, "I never heard of this guy," and I checked out your music, and I was like, "Oh my god!" I sent that to Richie, and that's when that happened. I was like, just out of nowhere, you popped up on Facebook just randomly, and I was like, that was like a random blessing, basically.
yeah. And what we were talking about like a little bit earlier, dude, was when you told me about Bro Job at first, and then you like we were kind of bullshitting with each other on Messenger, like a few weeks back, and you had sent me like this video, and telling you I remembered seeing that in like a Facebook group or whatever, and it was memed to hell and back, and it was just so funny because I'm like, oh my god, this is the same dude. This is fucking amazing.
Yeah, that's pretty much been everybody's like reception that listens to Brojo. Like, this is the same guy. Like, it's awesome though. I like that.
It should speak volumes though, man, because like it's just further proof that you don't have to pigeonhole yourself into one thing. You can do
absolutely
everything.
not, man.
It's awesome.
Like, I have, like I said, I have 8 projects that are active right now. One of them is a slam project. It's like slam death metal. Sleep It Away is the one that I'm really working on right now. It's like post-hardcore.
Yeah, you guys have a September release happening, don't you?
Yeah, and that's a solo project also. I'm doing that all by myself. It's
Hell yeah.
It's a lot of Under Oath influence. I'd say Under Oath is definitely the biggest influence. A band called Copeland, who I've loved my entire life. I don't know. It's just those 3 projects: Bro Job, Sleep It Away, and Dreamchaser. Though those are like my babies.
Hell yeah. And it was so cool because like listening to Dreamchaser and hearing that influence, it was refresh. It's still refreshing for Cody and I to come across any project in this genre because it all like on paper should quote unquote sound the same, but none of it does, and it's really cool because I think that's another thing that gets pigeonholed a lot with any genre is like you hear metal and there's some you have people out there, oh, this metal all sounds the same, or oh, this pop all sounds the same, and it's like, no, if you know what subtleties to look for, they sound different. Everybody's got their own kind of flair they put to it, and that's what Cody, you were mentioning earlier, like how there's Andrew, you have your own sound within that genre.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's just a matter of knowing where to look too. Like anybody can say a genre is like completely saturated. Like anyone can say that, but when you really like dig down and look up new artists and do your research, like it's easy to pick apart artists and find something individual about every one of them.
Yeah.
I think it's just it might be just sort of like an elitist mindset. You know what I mean? Where people are like, oh, it's all the same shit. Like. Those people are everywhere. You can't just can't take their opinions seriously.
They want a reason to complain, basically.
Yeah, there's a lot of them out there, man. It happens.
So you have been. I use this term because like everybody has their own terminology for it. You have been locked away in your studio or your recording setting, working on your debut album.
Yes.
How long has it taken to write the songs and complete the project, or did you anticipate having it out this year, or did you think, because like I have a perfectionist mindset, so like going into something I'd be like, oh, this is not good enough, and it gets to a point where like this is never going to come out because it's just not good enough. But like how long did you anticipate it taking to do, and what are some of the history behind some of the songs?
So the way I work whenever it comes to like releasing an album or releasing an EP or just like a collection of songs, it's so hard for me to determine because, like I said, I write a lot of different types of music. So if I'm not in the mindset for synthwave, I really can't say. Like it's really tough. But like I wrote the Dreamchaser album except for 2 songs, the Echoes and Burden Blessing. I already wrote those 2 songs, but all the other songs I wrote in a matter of like a month. I think.
Oh, holy shit!
I finished the rest of the album in a month.
That is fucking impressive.
I was just in that mindset. When I'm in that mindset and I'm in the zone, I can just sit down and it comes to me.
That's the best way to be, as far as like when it's the best time to write.
Rather than just forcing yourself to do it, yeah.
And after it took me a long time to come back to Dreamchaser because I was busy with I was in that mindset to write post-hardcore. I was finishing my Sleep It Away EP that's coming out in September. So as soon as I was finished up with that, I had that off my plate. I started listening to Midnight. I started listening to FM84 and all those artists again, and it just pulled me right back in. And I was like, okay, I feel inspired. I sat down and I just literally started writing, and I had the skeletons for the tracks done within a week at least. And then after that, it was just a matter of making them individual and coming up with lyrics and it didn't take me long once I was in that mindset, which was great.
Yeah, and
I can never anticipate that happening either. Like some days, like holy shit, I'm in a great mood. I can write this stuff, and then the next day it's like gone, and it sucks, But
oh yeah,
yeah.
See, I was just thinking, just off the top of my head, it's like I can see you and Clayton doing some tracks together because the way that he does Cell Dweller and Scandroid, he has that metal rock influence in his tracks, and I think y'all two would probably work well together in that aspect.
Dude, I would kill to work with him. I love his style of writing.
That dude's a fucking legend, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and at least in our eyes, he's a fucking legend in the.
No, he is
scene,
100%.
Oh yeah.
Like that should be a fucking dream collaboration for anybody out there that works in any sort of electronic music setting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would be incredible. That would definitely be an honor to work with him.
See,
I've been trying to work with Kill the Noises.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been talking to Jake for like probably a couple years now. Dude's amazing, such a great guy. But he's super busy like all the time. So like I'm hoping that one day we can like work on something together. That'd be fantastic.
Awesome.
That would be fucking badass, man.
Yeah, it would be really great.
So you sent us a private link to just kind of preview the album. Haha, joke's on you guys, bitches. We got to hear it first. So I'm being a shit, but it was really well put together. The track order really it complemented the songs going from one to the next. Really enjoyed like the whole fucking thing. But if you want to kind of elaborate on like the songs themselves and like the kind of influence or mindset or lyrics behind each one?
Yeah, I can break down some songs for you. So as far as the track order goes, really that was kind of an accident. I wrote them actually in that order, except for Echoes and Burning the Blessing. I kind of threw those in where I wanted, but everything else was like in chronological order. I just kind of exported it, and I felt like it flowed nicely.
It fucking worked.
Yeah. In fact, one of my favorite tracks sounds nothing like any of the others. The Tidal Wave track, I think is what it's called.
That's probably one of my favorites too, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, it's like super like, I don't know, it's great driving music.
Dude.
It's fantastic driving music.
Oh, absolutely. I think Without You is my favorite.
Without You?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a really good song. I was probably in a really bad mindset when I was writing all this music too. I was kind of fighting depression at the time. So I was that was a big part of like what fueled like the emotion behind the songs.
Yeah.
But a lot of the tracks are just like about like my love life throughout the years, and life lessons, and really personal things that I've dealt with or that I've overcome. And like for instance, I have a single coming out soon called Young and Broken.
Yes.
And that track specifically is, I was probably 19 and I was, first time ever being in love. I was in love with this girl who was overseas, and, like, being that young, I didn't have like a good job or any means of making things like a reality. I couldn't just fly over there. I was still a kid. We both were, so that song is basically about like the struggle of being in love with someone you can't see on a day-to-day basis, and being so young and naive and not understanding it. And like that song I really enjoy. I think that might be my favorite song on the album.
That's a hard fucking relate, dude. That is a hard fucking relate. Because...
Yeah, a lot of people can't, and it's not easy. It's extremely difficult to make the decision to where like this isn't going to work and I have to accept it.
Yeah. It's got to be vulnerable to put out material like that at the same time too. I think that's with any artist, man. Is there like a certain fear, like, and we're still going to be talking about these obviously, but like with that song in particular, was there like a certain like anxiety behind like, should I release this? Was it too personal for you, or do you feel like that's more cathartic to just go ahead and put it out there?
It was more therapeutic. Yeah. Honestly, I think just kind of like spilling my guts, like that's just how it feels. Like even listening to it, I'm like, I was able to kind of jump back into that mindset and rediscover how I felt by talking about it, and I'm looking forward. That one actually is coming out August 2nd, by the way. So
Sweet.
that I'm excited for people to check that track out. But there's other songs that like I just kind of like I would say 95% of the album is personal. Tidal Wave, there aren't any lyrics, so that one is just kind of me having fun with the genre. And it's just like I wanted it to be intense and just like badass the entire time. So but yeah, I mean, I would say definitely all of the tracks that have lyrics tie into the timeline of me either grieving or dealing with loss, or dealing with love and life lessons, etc.
And it's good to hear it come across in a genre like that too, because a lot of people would think about like synthwave and stuff is it's mostly upbeat, and like the first impression I think both of us ever got is just like either you are on a fucking speedboat, Miami Vice style, or you have a vehicle like during the sunset driving with the top down, and there's just no fucking worries, no carefree. But when you really delve into adding like that juxtaposition of holy shit, there's a feel good sounding track, but the lyrics are really personal and it's kind of sad, like that's a good like mixture of things. So like that's nice to hear, honestly.
Nice breakaway from the norm, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to connect to fans, and, if that means me having to step out of, like, my comfort zone to, put my personal life out there for people to connect, and I'm all about it. You know, like I would love for someone to like contact me and say, you know, like this song really helped me get through, you know, like some bullshit I'm dealing with, or, you know, like to me that is the ultimate payoff.
I can tell you right now, just the two of us having heard it, like that is a fucking guarantee that will happen with this material, man. Because, like, listening to the songs and then hearing the lyrics, like going and delving into really like because you get it, you're a musician, like you can listen to a track and single out one instrument the whole time you listen to something, or you can single out the vocals when you're listening, and that's kind of like how Cody and I do. We listen and pick apart stuff. So
I'm the same way.
yeah, we can tell you right now that is a guarantee. Like there are really powerful tracks on here. So
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Absolutely, man. So with getting the songs written and things like that, very interesting. Like when we rolled across this on social media, Nick Varian is actually or has been like working with you on this as far as was he producing, mixing, stuff like that for it?
So I love him, by the way. Just gonna put that out there. He's such a great friend. Like seriously, dude, incredible person.
Yeah, we're huge fucking fans, man. So
he has got me through like so much. You have no idea. Like just as a close friend and helping me push my projects out, and you know what he had a major role in the album, and that was the mastering portion. So I got all my tracks mixed, and he helped critique me along the way and told me what he would I wanted any suggestion I could get from him because he's brilliant. And he would tell me like, hey, maybe this transition could flow a little bit better, or maybe we could add a melody here, or like add impacts here, or whatever. So he helped me really give the songs more depth. And after I was finished up with all the mixing on my end, I sent all the unmasters to him. And about a week later, he sent me back everything, and I was honestly completely blown away because everything just sounds so massive and loud and clear, and I couldn't be any more happy. Like he really helped me pull this together. Like without his help, honestly, I'd probably still be in my studio room like pulling my hair out, honestly.
Yeah, that dude is so influential. He's just such a great-hearted person. Just like having seen, you know, just what we can see of him like on social media and stuff, like I can only imagine how much more awesome he is in real life. So
he's great.
Yeah,
well,
it's cool.
I met him actually at a Kill the Noise concert. Kill the Noise was playing in Ybor, I think it was sometime last year, and I was hanging out with Jake, and Nick was there, and he introduced himself, and you know, we had only been hanging out for like maybe 5 minutes, and we hit it off immediately. We were talking about like our metal influences. Like I remember talking about Opeth, which was a big influence for both of us. And honestly, just a great guy all around. I'm really happy I got to meet him, and you know, his like the way he mixes a track. Like I hope to someday be even a fraction at that level. Like it's unreal how big he can make anything sound. So that's why I'm so happy. That's why I chose him to master the project, because I knew it would be really wide and massive, and yeah, he brought it. He really did.
Yeah, dude. Like, and it's crazy how much. It's crazy how many things that he works in, man. Because for the longest, like whenever like I first discovered him, like Cody and I both have like been listening to Varian for what, like 5-6 years now.
At least. I mean, I found to him when it was 2014, I think it was.
Yeah, it's been a while, man. And to find out after the fact that the dude has done fucking film scoring, video game shit, like it's unbelievable. Like the amount of stuff that
he never stops working. He's always got something going.
Yeah, man, and like it's unbelievable because like I cannot imagine. I mean, I can, but like I can't imagine having that much shit going on at one time, but being as like just the highest fucking level possible as everything he does is. It's unreal.
Yeah.
So that's definitely a big boost as far as the album is going to be, like, when it comes out. Do you have, like, we touched on it a little bit, like that we are privy to information that is not being shared right now, but do you have anything in mind, or do you have any kind of idea of when we can expect the album to come out?
It'll be this year. That's what I want.
Good.
It'll definitely be this year. I don't know when. If I had to guess, I'd say winter. But it's not going to be any time like really soon. But I'm planning on releasing more singles to the public. So you'll probably see. You have one coming on August 2nd. You might see maybe 2 more.
Do you have
before the album drops?
Do you have any idea which ones you might want to put out?
So, Without You mentioned that one earlier. Yeah. That one I definitely want to release. I think that one's next in line after Young and Broken. And then I think I might surprise fans with Tidal Wave because no one's heard that side of me yet. So I know you guys have, but I think people will be like, "Oh shit, okay."
Well, look at that. Our two favorite tracks are going to come out.
Hell yeah,
that's what I'm talking about.
We called that way beforehand.
Yeah, so I think that'll help kind of show people some variety and like give them a little more curiosity with the album.
Fucking A, man.
And to you as a talented producer and everything.
No
so
shit.
Appreciate it.
Oh, absolutely, man. Is there anything else that you have in the pipeline other than this that you want to plug before we get out of here?
So September 6th, Sleep It Away EP is already in pre-order phase. So if anybody listening wants to pre-order it, I'd appreciate it a lot. It'd help me out. August 2nd, I got a new single coming out for Dreamchaser. Look out for that. You can pre-save it on Spotify right now. And if you're not following me on Spotify, please follow me. That would also help me a ton. Other than that, honestly, I'm excited for the future.
Hell
and
yeah.
I really appreciate you guys giving me the opportunity to talk on the show. Like, it means a lot to me. This is actually my first podcast ever. So.
Oh, hell yeah, man.
We were definitely honored to have you.
Yeah, man. Like, we heard you out, and I told Cody, I was like, I want to get Andrew on this fucking show because people need to hear his music. And
I appreciate that so much.
Oh, absolutely, dude. And anybody out there listening, if you want to scroll up in the episode show notes, we'll have links to literally everything that Andrew has coming out in the future. So it's easy for you. It's easy for you. Don't be lazy.
It's easy.
Just push the buttons.
Scroll up now. Hit pause. Scroll up. Push the shit, and then come back. And then
tell us how awesome he is in every project he does.
Exactly.
Oh man.
So we can find you at Dreamchaser FL, as in the Florida initials, on what? It's on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. It's all across social media.
Yep, and I'm on SoundCloud too for any fans that are on SoundCloud.
Hell yes. Well, shit, man. It was really good to talk to you finally. Like, on the phone, like, hearing a voice and putting a voice to a face. Because, like, we've been in contact with you for a few weeks, but this has been fun, dude, and we definitely want to have you back on sometime. So
100%, I would love to come back. So yeah,
doors always open. And shit, man, if we ever come down to Florida, we need to have some fucking drinks or something.
Yeah,
dude, I will invite you guys over. We'll have pizza and beer and all that good shit. It'll be great.
We need to show you some of the trash movies that we watch too. That shit's fucking great.
All right, then we'll have a movie night with pizza and beer, and it's gonna be sick.
While riding out hurricanes and shit.
As long as it's Miami Connection, that's gonna be a fucking.
We need to go to somewhere in Miami and watch it. Yeah.
Perfect.
Oh yeah, good
Bro
time.
job.
Bro job. Good times. That's still one of the best fucking band names I have ever heard in my life.
Why haven't we come up with that?
I don't know, but it's because he did. But I'm telling you, like, just bro job.
You remember in the Facebook watch party we did the other day, and I was like, we should come up with ideas on the podcast.
Yeah.
Bro job. I was like, yeah. That just sounds like such a funny but terrible idea at the same time.
I'm so glad that it exists anyway, though, because, like, dude, and if you go look on their Facebook or the Facebook page for that, it's funny because, like, the way that all the instruments are listed, there's like one was like ass clapper, and then like ass shaker, a ball shaker, something like that. It's fucking hilarious, man.
I need the ass shaker, ass clapper. I just need an instrument called that. Just whatever the fuck it is.
Just the ass clapper.
Yeah.
Ass clapper 9000.
Sounds like an as seen on TV product.
Ass seen on TV.
As seen on TV. It's the ass clapper.
Hey, that's the ass that I seen on that TV over there.
It'd be clapping like crazy.
Yeah.
Ass clapper. Ass clapper.
I'm Michael Jordan. Stop it. Get some help.
No, Mike.
We refuse. But yeah, if you want to scroll up into the show notes below and check out all of Andrew's projects and save, your pre-order stuff, do it.
The dude's a very talented guy, so definitely check out any of his projects, if not all of them.
And support the shit out of him. And be on the lookout for big things coming from this dude in the future.
Definitely.
You already know where to find us on social media. We spout it out every fucking week.
Where to find our dumb faces.
Our fucking stupid faces. Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Go support the podcast on Patreon at patreon.com/supermediabros.
You know what to do.
Yeah, buy some fucking merch. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. All that shit is in the show notes below as well.
It's like Morris Bart. You know what to do.
Dude. Look, if I never had to see another Morris Bart billboard in my life, I would be completely happy with that.
Thanks, Trey.
Yeah. It's like a fucking punch in the dick.
I know.
Real hard. All right.
Injured?
Yeah, what?
Call Morris Bart.
Ow! I need another Morris Bart.
Dick injury.
Speaking of dick injuries, please stay tuned when our Cult Cinema Showdown drops this Friday. Jesus Christ. There's a lot of dick mangling.
Dicking around.
There's a lot of dick mangling, a lot of explosions, and whenever we say a lot of explosions, we are not exaggerating by any stretch of the imagination.
This is where Michael Bay got inspiration.
No, this was like Michael Cray.
Yeah.
Like, it was fucking ridiculous.
Michael Bay Sr.
So
Son, you want to explode everything? Watch your father.
Yeah.
Boom.
So Friday, it's going to be Invasion USA starring Chuck Norris versus Action USA starring a bunch of nobodies and Cameron Mitchell.
Because that's the only person we wanted to see.
Yeah, Cameron Mitchell is like fucking legend.
When you have a movie with Cameron Mitchell and explosions, that's all you need.
It really is. You're a liar. Fucking goddamn it. I'll never forget Deadly Prey. I love that shit.
You're an explosion.
You're a fire. God damn it.
Gather wood for the fire.
For the fire. Can he please be
He
the
plays-
team? I wish he was
Baldy.
still alive. Yeah.
He needs to be Baldy.
Cameron's Baldy's Basics.
You need a gad wood for the liars.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and just shut the fuck up and say that you guys need to look out for that shit Friday. And hope you enjoyed that interview. It was a lot of fun to do. And Andrew's a really
was.
badass
He
motherfucker.
is.
He is. It's all the things.
We love you 3000.
Big time 3000.
Yeah.
So we're going to get the fuck on out of here. Until next time, shades on.
We're off.